This is 5 Minutes to Change Your Life. My name is Joanne Mallon. I'm an author and coach. I love helping people make wee changes that make a massive difference in their lives. Give me 5 minutes of your time today. Just might change your life. Hey, what about you? So today's episode is a wee bit different from usual, but this is a response to a listener request. You know, I always love to get suggestions and find out what you want to hear about. And I had a question come in from Corca, who left a comment on Spotify, and she asked if I could do an episode about creating a podcast. So given that this is a podcast about mental health and well-being, I'm kind of trying to bring the two topics together here and talk about how creating your own podcast is great for your mental health. And maybe you'll give it a go. You know, send me a link if you do. Let's support each other in this. Let's lift as we climb. Because, you know, podcasting isn't just about building an audience who listen to you or becoming the next big thing. It can also be a great form of self expression, a way to reflect and find connection and be creative. And in that, it can also support your mental health. First of all, podcasting gives your thoughts somewhere to go. So many of us, we carry ideas, worries, emotions round in our heads all day long. And when everything stays internal, it can feel almost overwhelming. But speaking your thoughts out loud, even if nobody's listening, that can really help organize what's going on in your mind. So think of it as talking through your thoughts instead of letting them endlessly circle and spiral in your head. The second benefit that you can get from podcasting is in creating routine. Mental well-being very often improves when we have some kind of structure in our lives. So if you set yourself the goal of recording one short episode every week, that gives you something positive and creative to work towards. And you know, it doesn't have to be big, hour-long complicated production. Could be just 5 minutes or so, just like this. Another benefit I think we can get from podcasting is building confidence. You know, the first time you hear your own voice, you might cringe. I think a lot of people do, but over time, something changes and you stop worrying about sounding perfect and just start focusing on what it is that you want to say, what you want to communicate. Every episode is proof that you can learn, improve, and show up even when you're feeling nervous. And that confidence that you get from podcasting then will carry into other areas of your life, whether that might be speaking in meetings or having difficult conversations or doing stand up comedy, as I am doing now, or simply believing in yourself a wee bit more. Podcasting can also be great for reducing feelings of loneliness because even if you start by recording on your own, you're still thinking about speaking to another human being. You're imagining somebody listening, somebody who might relate to your experience. And then when those listeners actually show up and start responding, you realize that sharing creates connection. And sometimes the very thing that you've struggled with becomes the thing that helps somebody else to feel listened to and seen and heard and less alone. Now, as far as the practicalities go, podcasting in itself is pretty straightforward. You don't need expensive equipment or a professional studio. You could record on your phone. I mean, that's how I started. You can also use the Riverside site to record. I use that now. Riverside will give you a free online studio, and you could also use the Spotify for Creators app to get your podcast distributed to all the various places where people listen. It's really pretty straightforward. And the goal with this is not for it to be perfect. The goal is expression. So, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, I would say keep it simple. Choose a topic that you genuinely care about. Maybe make a few notes of what you want to say, and then just record for, say, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't worry about editing every pause or every. And to be honest, if you do use Riverside, the editing side of things is very, very simple and straightforward. If I can do it, you can too. Another practical tip I'd give you is to keep a notebook or maybe your notes app where you jot down ideas through the week for your podcast, just as they occur to you. Anytime something makes you smile or teaches you a lesson or gets you thinking, write that down. Because before you know it, then you'll have dozens of episode ideas just there waiting for you. And finally, never obsess over downloads or followers. That way, madness lies. Podcasting shouldn't become another source of pressure. If creating your podcast starts to feel stressful, remind yourself why you started. Maybe it was to express yourself, maybe it was to process your thoughts, maybe it was simply to create something meaningful out in the world. All of those reasons are just as valuable as any number on a screen. Your voice and your thoughts have value. Your experiences matter. And you never know, by sharing your story, you might support your own mental well-being whilst also helping someone else feel better about themselves too. So, what do you think? You going to give it a go? Let me know. Send me a link. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.